we talk about like the outcome of that. Well, now Manchester City, they're looking at not just going trophyless, but maybe missing a chance of making the Champions League. And we're gonna bring up these standings here real
Yeah.
quick for the Premier League, man. So one thing I was very happy about us winning yesterday was I didn't want this shit to come down to the last week. Like it's already been, Arsenal's been getting destroyed on the internet since the PSG loss. Last thing I wanted was, oh, you got beat out by Nottingham Forest. Y'all ain't even gonna have European nights. That I didn't want that. So I'm glad. Thank God for Declan Rice for them winning that game. But you got Newcastle right here with 66 points, Chelsea with 66 points, Aston Villa with 66, Man City with 65, and Nottingham Forest with 65. How do you think that the spots 3 through 5 are going to play out? And I know we got some of the games here as well from this weekend. So
Oh,
you got
wait.
all the different games right here that's going to be going on. And I think it's going to be like an NFL thing where all these games going to be going on at the same time. So tell me what you think about this weekend and who you think is going to get these final spots.
The hater in me really wants to see Chelsea and City miss out on Champions League so bad. Like I want Chelsea to finish 6th and City finish 7th. But I know logically, like City plays against Fulham. That's going to be a tough game for them. Fulham's going to try and battle them. United, depending on what happens and when they're going to be drunk, a good drunk or a bad drunk. So Aston Villa probably got that with Trafford. But yeah, it's just I can't call it right now. I generally can't because I don't know what players' moods are. I feel like the last month players have all been checked out, and that's why I don't really. That's why when people are on the timeline saying, "Oh, try," like most of these players are already looking up where they're gonna go be like after Sunday. Like which island am I going to? Which American city am I going to? Am I gonna be in Vegas? Am I gonna be in Miami? Am I gonna be in Atlanta? Like where am I gonna be? That's what players are right now. They've been doing that itinerary for a while, so I don't know who's gonna show up on Sunday. There might be some random academy kid who's trying to prove a point, so I can't really call it. But the real hater in me wants to see Man United finish 17th, win Europa League, and Chelsea and City don't get anything. That to me would be a great way to end the season. That'd be an amazing way to end the season for me.
My hate watch is purely on Chelsea. I don't want them to make it because I'm slowly gaining disdain for certain clubs, and Chelsea's one of them. Like that, they have a very talkative, but at the same time swaggerless fan base that I just like. Okay, like y'all over here, being happy about the Europa League is one thing, but the other conference thing, the other conference cup, like have some shame, okay? Especially for a big club with a history that Chelsea has, have some shame. And I'm just honestly tired of all the rebuttal coming Arsenal's way for us finishing second. And despite all the reasons for it, it sounds like excuses, but I don't care what sport it is. I know people been talking about this all weekend. I don't care what sport. 27 injuries is nuts for any league. Like, I can see an injury. Oh, somebody missed a week or two. That happens in sports. Like, but 27 injuries is nuts.
I'm gonna give you a fun factoid about Chelsea and why I don't respect Chelsea. And like I said, Romans saved their lives because if it wasn't for Roman, this club would not exist. In 1982, Tottenham was sold Lily for £1 because their finances were that bad. Like they've been
crazy.
Yeah, like they've literally just been a joke to me most of my football career, most of my football life. And 04, they got bought by some, Russians, and they're like the broke kid who won the lottery. That's what they are. Them and Man City. That's what they are. So I don't really take anything both their fan bases say seriously. I'm just like I don't really care enough. And I know, they're big clubs now, and they're they got standards or whatever. But I know what you are. I know exactly what you are. So.
And I'm with that with Man City too. Where like I don't feel from the year they should be able to sneak into the Champions League. So like I want to see Fulham knock them off as well, man. Let's talk about your squad, Manchester United, man. You put out a tweet a couple days ago. We like, man, I don't know if you're a United fan right now, you ain't gripping reality of what's going on. You need to accept it. What game were you watching when it happened? Like, what do you really feel about the history? How much is on the line in these next 48 hours for United?
I was watching Chelsea, and there was a play where Rasmus Højlund like turned, and instead of shooting, he was dilly-dallying around the box, and then Chelsea countered. A lot of Chelsea's best chances came from his poor touches and him falling over the floor. And the next day on Saturday, I see Man United fans talking about some, oh, why can't our striker do this? Like when Mateta held up the bar, I'm just like, that's the problem. Is like United fans have lied to themselves for so long about the state of this club. With like, oh, we shouldn't be 17th. We should at least not, be, top 10. I'm like, no, the squad is not good enough to be top 10. You have a striker who's ineffective. You have a goalkeeper who's decides what day he wants to do things. You have a bunch of players who want to play in a way that happened 3 years ago, and the coach wants to go this way. So people are not understanding, like, it's so many bad concoctions. And the coach is a good coach, because I remember a few months ago, Jamie Carragher was telling Casemiro to leave before the football leaves him, and Casemiro is one of the best players in the team now. So it's one of these things where I think that fans cannot, and it goes for every sport. I think every single fan base lies to themselves about the state of their team, because nobody really wants to be real about how bad their team is. No, this is a terrible Manchester United squad. The worst I've ever seen in my life, where I don't know who's going to score. I don't know who's going to play a good pass. I don't know who's going to do something. It all depends on the day. So there are some good players on this team, but the majority of this team is not of the standard. So when we're finishing 16th, 17th, it's not because it's a bad squad. It's because it's a shit squad and a terrible job of recruitment. So Man United have never really done a real rebuild. They haven't really knocked down the structure properly. I think that the problem is now that, like, this is the first time United fans are doing a rebuild, like an actual one where you got to cut like 10 different players in the team, and they can't stomach that. They can't accept the fact that your team is shit. And this is something I want to talk about Arsenal in relation to this. When I see people who laugh at Mikel Arteta for not winning the title, I'm like, I know what Arsenal were before he was hired, how bad Arsenal was, and how he came in to reset the culture. He came in and made this team relevant in sports. He made this team culturally aware of what they are. Arsenal now consistently top 4 team, and that's what a proper rebuild does. Is like, you're competitive, right? You might not win everything, but you're competitive. United not competitive. And that's why you need a cultural reset and a cultural rebuild and the whole entire squad rebuild. So that's my thing of saying United fans have the stomach for it. As far as Wednesday, it doesn't change anything for me, win or lose, because even if we lose, we still got to rebuild. If we win, we rebuild happy. We lose, we rebuild sad. So it doesn't change anything for me. It's just, don't lose to Tottenham. That's the only thing I want. I don't care what you do. Just
don't lose to Tottenham. Like I said, the number one thing I was told when I was picking who my club was going to be, well, I'd say every person I talked to said, don't pick Tottenham. Every person, literally, it was, that was the only take I've gotten that was consistent across the board. Catch I'm Not Gonna Hold You, hosted by Scott Lewis, every Monday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, only on HNB Media and the Barbershop Network.